What's up, family? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to do a 0% interest business credit masterclass. 0% interest business credit masterclass. All right. We're going to do this real quick. We're going to go through a 0% interest masterclass tonight. So share this out with 5 people. Share this out with 5 people that you know could use some 0% interest business credit, 25K, 50K, 100K to get to the next level. Share this out with 5 people and comment done. Comment done. You send this out to 5 people and you comment done. All right. Let me know. Let me know. Drop this off to 5 people. We're going to do 0% interest business credit masterclass. All right. Send this out to 5 people and let me know when it's done. Drop it in the chat. Comment done when it's done. We're going to get into it. If you know 5 people that can utilize 0% interest business credit to grow and scale, let's send it out to 5 people and comment done when it's done. All right, so let's get into it. So number one here. Number one here is what we want to do is we want to identify, right, 0% interest opportunities. Okay. So for 0% interest, what all this means, y'all, is that business credit cards and credit cards just in general. So I'll just say credit cards just in general give you an introduction APR, right? For 6 months, for 12 months, for 9 months, for 15 months, for 18 months, okay? They're going to give you the ability to get access to 0% interest. It's just an introduction APR, special APR for the first 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 15 months, typically all the way up to 18 months on the business side. All right, the reason why they do this is they want to get you into their wheelhouse. So they're going to entice you as a business owner to say, okay, this bank is working with me. They gave me 0% interest for 12 months, man. I'm going to bring all my deposits over here. I'm going to do all my business with them, right? They care about growth in my company. They care about me having the ability to get to the next level, okay? So this is what it means. Now, after the 0% interest ends, then your interest rates can go back to anywhere from 15% to like 25% on average. And that's going to be based off of your current credit scores, okay? So the higher your credit scores are, the lower your interest rate will remain after the 0% interest time period, okay? So the lower your scores are, the higher your interest rate is going to be. Why? Because they're going to look at you more like a risk. So the better the credit score, the less risky you look like, okay? So, or appear to the lenders just in general, all right? So what we want to do, so now that we understand what business credit cards are, what's really important is why, right? Why are you using this product? Somebody drop no doc in the chat. Somebody drop no doc in the chat. You're going to use 0% interest business credit cards because they're typically going to allow you to get access to no doc funding, y'all. All right, drop no doc in the chat. They're going to allow you to get access to no doc funding. What does that mean? They allow you to use stated income on your profile. They allow you to use projected income on that application to get approved for high limit business credit cards. I'm talking anywhere from 10K all the way up to $100,000 in one limit. Okay. When you go apply for a line of credit, when you go apply for a loan, most institutions are going to ask for some sort of paperwork. They're going to ask for bank statements. They're going to ask for taxes, some sort of proof that business is actually generating the cash flow that you put on the application. So the business credit card is one of the only products that allows us to do it. Now, some institutions out there, like just 1%, I would say 99% of all lenders out there allow you to use stated, allow you to use projected income on those applications to get approved. There are going to be lenders like credit unions. A lot of credit unions ask for documentation for a business credit card. A lot of small banks may ask for, documentation for a business credit card. This is just a normal thing. My credit is a 745, but my credit card is new. Can I buy a trade line to increase my age to qualify? Yes, you can buy a trade line, an age trade line to increase your history for sure. All right. So the next thing that we have to understand is what the qualifications for business credit cards are. All right. For business credit cards, you want to have at least a 680 or above credit score. I recommend like a 720 plus is going to be the sweet spot, but a 680 allows you to get in the game, right? The higher the credit score, higher approvals. Okay. Higher the approvals. Okay. So keep that in mind. So the higher your scores are, the higher the approvals, and that's going to matter when you are making your moves. The next thing that they're going to look at, guys, is the amount of accounts that you have on your profile. Now, it's two separations to this. Mainly, it's accounts that's in your name. So they're called primary accounts and authorized user accounts. Okay. This is what the gentleman just mentioned in the chat. So primary accounts are accounts that's in your name that you're responsible for. These are your auto loans. These are your mortgages. These are your student loans. These are your credit cards that you pay on. These are your personal loans that you pay on. That's in your name that you're responsible for. This authorized users are typically credit cards that somebody else owns, right? Your spouse owns, your mom owns, your father, your parents, right? Your siblings, somebody that you're literally borrowing their credit history on one of their credit lines that they add you to get that credit history on your credit to improve your credit. All right. So I'm going to say that in another way. Essentially, authorized user accounts allow you to piggyback off of other people's credit. So if they have a Capital One card that they've had for 10 years, when you add that Capital One card to your credit profile as an authorized user, you're going to get that history on your credit. If the limit is $20,000, you're going to get that $20,000 limit on your credit. Okay. Those are different tools and tricks that you can use to strengthen your credit profile. But again, this is only going to work. Authorized users are only going to work with some institutions. It's not as sweet as it used to be. Okay. It's not going to work with all the institutions out there. What it does do with one of the top banks or the top bank in America, Chase still values, authorized users. All right. So you can still use banks like Chase Bank and still get some high limit approvals with authorized users in a thin profile. All right. So again, the amount of accounts matter. You want to have at least 5 primary accounts in your name that you're responsible for. 5 primary accounts. All right. So that's going to matter. Anything under 5 primary, so 4 or below, is going to be considered a thin profile, guys. You're going to have a thin profile. So with a thin profile, it's really just a red flag for lenders. They're going to look at their profile and say, oh, this person hasn't had a lot of relationships. So it's a high probability that this person, we're still learning this person. We haven't seen how they pay. We haven't seen how much access to capital they can truly get because they have limited relationships. We haven't seen if they get 5, 10, 15 accounts, if they're going to be able to keep up with all those accounts and manage their bills on time. Okay, so anything 4 and under is considered a red flag or thin profile, which can leave you denied. Other qualifications that are important, guys, is, right, so again, you want to have at least 5 primary accounts. Now, other qualifications that matter when you're doing no-doc credit card stacking is going to be the limits on those credit cards. So your credit card limits, okay? At very minimum, you want to have 10 to 20K in limits on your personal credit at very minimum to even qualify for business credit, for business credit cards. If you do not have that on your credit, it's going to be very difficult to get a decent approval for business credit cards. Now, again, the higher the better. So if you have anywhere from 20K to 50K on your credit profile, this is going to be even better to make sure that you get high limit approvals on your business credit cards, okay? So it's two ways that you can do this. Number one, the best way is to get this in your primary name, right? So this is primary credit cards that you're responsible for, that you get approved for. So this 10K limits, right? Let's say it's with Cap One. Let's say, you know, everybody runs and gets like a 25K limit with Navy Federal, right? Those things are beneficial because that's in your name and it shows your payment history, the limits that you've been exposed to, okay? So that's one way to get it. Other ways that you can get this, guys, is again with authorized user trade lines. You can go to websites like Trade Line Genie. You can go to websites like Trade Line Supply, and you can buy trade lines for a fair price. All right, and there's plenty of others out there in the marketplace. So you need at least 5 primary accounts, ideally 5 credit cards that's in your name for best results. You can add authorized users to speed up the process. But if your profile is thin and you're anywhere from that, you know, 20K and under in limits, I recommend that you maybe look into like adding, you know, 1 to 2 more personal credit cards on your profile so you can start getting those limits up. Before I move to the business side, I typically like the profile to have at least $40,000 in limits for the best results. This is with a $40,000 in personal credit card limits, you should be getting approvals for 50K to 150K. Okay? 50 to 150K very easily with at least $40,000 in primary or in credit cards on your profile. This can be a mixture of primary accounts and authorized users. Okay, keep that in mind. The next thing that you want to stay away from in regards to qualifications is no negatives, guys. No negative accounts, right? No bankruptcy. This is for 0% interest. Again, we're doing a 0% interest business credit card class. I'm not talking about nothing else. Business credit card, okay? I'm not talking about anything else. There's other products that if you have negative items on your profile that you can qualify for, but we're not talking about this on this particular segment. And then feel free to ask me any questions. What about buying primaries? You can buy primaries. I'm actually going to release a case study maybe later in the week. One of my students, he had got an auto primary for like $60,000, and he actually just picked up, you know, 2 vehicles, a Camaro and a Tahoe, right? And got approved for some credit cards with a mixture of 1 auto primary and 1 authorized user that had good age on it. So I'm gonna drop that case study later in the week on YouTube. So make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, Solo the Funder. But let's get back into it. All right. So you don't want any negative accounts. So no charge off, no collections, no bankruptcies, right? None of that. And then for your late payments, y'all, your late payments need to be less anything. Any late payments in the last 2 years is going to really ding your business credit and going to make it more difficult for you to get approved for business credit. So you want to have the last late payment has to be 2 years or older. Okay. 2 years or older. If your late payment is 2 years or older, you're back in the game. Amex will approve you. Chase will approve you. If you're under 2 years, it's other lenders out there that will approve you. You're just not going to be able to max out and get super high limits. right? Because this is going to present risk. Okay. So no late payments in the last 2 years. All right. Again, any negative items on your profile just increases the risk that the lender will actually lend you money going forward. Okay. Uh, just like when you borrow money or lend money to a person, if they burnt you and ran off on you and didn't pay you back when they said they were going to pay you back, these are all going to be red flags for anybody else that's lending to that person. That's how it works in the business credit world as well. All right. So these are some basic qualifications. Other things that are important is the number of inquiries. Okay. Number of inquiries. So you want to keep your inquiries 3 or less, right? 3 or less in a 6-month period. And this is per bureau. Per bureau. Okay. So that's per 3 or less for Experian, 3 or less for TransUnion, 3 or less for Equifax. Okay. The lower, the better in a 6-month time frame. If they see that you are running a bunch of applications in a 6-month time frame, that's going to look like a red flag to all lenders. Right? It looks like you're credit seeking, they call it, and hungry and desperate for money. Right? You don't want to look like that. They like to lend money to people that look like they don't need it. So that's what happens. That's what happens. All right. So the next thing is how are we finding these places? How are we finding these places? So to find these places, what we want to do, guys, is you do a simple search. Okay. I just typed this in. This is one of the zip codes that one of my companies are in. So I just typed that in there. All right. So you can look at the options around you by zip code. All right. So right off top, let me see, 0% interest. Flagship Bank. Let me see. We're going to look at some of these. Truist offers a 0% interest card. Truist offers a 0% interest card. Synovus offers 0% interest. Wells Fargo offers 0% interest. Bank of America offers 0% interest. Chase Bank offers 0% interest. Let me see. Hancock Whitney. I got to double check. I know First Citizens offers 0% interest. So that's one bank, 2 banks, 3 banks, 4 banks, 5 banks, 6 banks confirmed. Okay. So we got 6 banks confirmed that for sure offer 0% interest in their business credit. Now, the most important thing after you find, and I'll write some of these down, after you find out what the business credit, what banks actually offer 0% interest, the next thing that's super important is going to be what bureaus these banks are pulling. So we got Truist, we got Synovus. Okay. We got, let me see what we have. Wells Fargo. All right. Wells Fargo. We got Bank of America. Right. Chase. We got Chase. And then the last one was First Citizens. All right. All these offer 0% interest business credit cards. All right. So again, bureau. So as far as bureau, Truist is going to pull Equifax. This is going to pull Equifax. Chase may pull either TransUnion and Experian, or one or the other based on where you apply. Wells Fargo is going to pull Experian. Bank of America is going to pull TransUnion. And First Citizens, I don't even know right off the top of my head. I think they may pull Equifax as well, but I'm not 100% sure. The best way to find out what bureau a bank actually pulls, guys, is by literally picking up the phone and calling them, right? You can pick up the phone and call them. Hey, I heard you guys are a really good bank. I was thinking about coming in and open up a bank account. I wanted to ask you guys a few questions before I come in. Question number one, what bureau do you guys pull for your business credit card products? How much money do I need to bring in the bank to open up the account? Can I apply online? Do I have to have an account to apply online? Right? Just different questions that you want to ask. What documents do I need? Because that's going to tell you if the bank is truly, no doc, or if they're actually asking for documentation. So those are a few questions that you want to ask when you're setting up your funding sequence, okay? So number 3 here. So now that we have a couple of banks, then we start running our apps. Again, you line them up. So I got 2 places that's going to pull TransUnion. So TransUnion is going to be Bank of America pulling it, and probably Chase is going to pull it. And then as far as Equifax, I got Truist, I got Synovus, right? And again, guys, if you guys are enjoying this so far, this breakdown, again, I'm having a boot camp. You want to text boot camp, the word boot camp, to 779-273-4138. I'm literally going to break down funding sequences, show you how to structure your profile, show you how to literally maximize even these banks and get approved for high limit personal and business credit. We're even going to do some live funding and walk you through applications live on the boot camp, okay? So you don't want to miss this, as well as a couple of special guests that add a tremendous value. So text boot camp to 779-273-4138 to get your ticket and lock in your spot. It's coming up in a couple of weeks and you don't want to miss this. Back to the video. So this is the breakdown here. All right, so Experian, what are we looking at for Experian? We got Chase over here, and then we also have Wells Fargo. And that's just right off top, guys, with banking data that I've gathered, right? And my banking experience helping people actually get access to capital and actually get funded. I was able to spit out those bureaus and different things like that, right? So based off of what I just said earlier, essentially this is 6 opportunities that's going to pull, each separate bureau. Right? So hypothetically, let's say you run these applications and you end up with, I don't know, let's say 30K. Let's say Chase gives you 15K, Wells Fargo gives you 15K. And again, this is going to be based on your relationship, based on what you put on the application, right? Those are key factors to determine how much in approvals you're going to get. Let's say Truist gives you 15K. Let's say Synovus gives you 15K. All right. So now you're lining yourself up. All right. What was the other 2 banks? Bank of America and Chase. Let's say you're lining yourself up for like 30,000, right, per bureau. Now that you have that money and you have that experience, that's where you can start marketing, guys, and start helping other people get access to the capital. Okay. So if you got $90,000 for yourself, $90,000 in funding approvals is going to be a $9,000 commission. Okay. If you help one person get access to $90,000, they're going to pay you 10% fee on the back end. Right. And you do that. Let's say you just do that once a month, right? You do that once a month. That's going to be 6 figures in income that you make just off of that experience that you've had, right? You've done it for yourself. You might have done it for a spouse. You might do it for somebody else. This is the power of this business, guys. So you can help other people get access to 0% interest funding business credit cards and turn it into a business, okay? And this is where it gets good. Let's say you help one person that has one LLC get approved for $90,000. You can have them bring in another partner, right? It may be a spouse, it may be a friend, it may be a family member, right? You can have them bring in another partner and add that person to their LLC. All you need is an operating agreement for most banks. All you would do for that operating agreement, you can just chat GBT this. You would literally, guys, all you're going to do is you're going to switch the actual ownership. All right. So you're going to go and make this person that you're adding 80% owner, and the person that just got funded at 90,000, they're going to be 20% owner. Now, this is going to give you the opportunity to run another funding sequence. Let's say you get another $90,000 for person number 2. Now they can use that capital to buy real estate, right? It's $180,000 that they can use to buy real estate. That is $180,000 that they can use to go into Airbnb. That's $180,000 that they can use to buy a company. They can maybe put down on a gas station, right? And then finance the other 90% with a SBA loan, right? They can buy another business. So it's so many different avenues that person can take this 180K for it to grow and for them to make money with, right? I'm gonna show you guys. So literally, if you guys getting some value, go ahead and comment the word bootcamp or text, bootcamp to 779-273-4138. 4138. All right. So I got a 5-day live boot camp coming up. I'm going to break down the funding game in its entirety for you guys. So let's say, for example, an individual wants to take that money now and they want to buy a business. Let's go find a business to buy. Let's go find a business to buy. So what we're going to do, I'm in Texas. We're going to search all industries. So we're going to find a business to buy. Let's put a price range. So if we got $180,000, we got $180,000, guys, so far. That means that we can probably put down 10% here. So if we got $180,000, we can put down 10% of that and buy a business for 1.8 million. So that's our max. Okay, we can buy a business for 1.8, which would be 10% of that. We can bring to the table that 180,000. And some of you guys may be wondering, like Solo, like, all right, how do I even turn that into cash, right? And I'll go over that. I have a company that can literally liquidate the entire credit cards for you safely and make sure that money gets into your account. All they're going to do is literally allow you to, they're going to charge a small fee, like 5-ish%. And with that, they're going to allow you to do the liquidation, have access to the cash. Okay. So you can liquidate it in full. That way you can buy a business or, make your moves, start your funding company, whatever you want to do, right? The goal of this is to have multiple streams of income and have the ability and free will to move however you want to. All right. So that's our limit. Our limit is we'll just put 2 million up here. And let's say we want to find one at least $300,000. So other filters that we want to add, we want to add the minimum cash flow. We want this business to at least make $300,000 a year. That way we can pay off any of the debts that we use to acquire the business and have some money left over. Does that make sense? So if we're putting down, guys, $180,000, we want to make sure that this money gets paid without us using any of our money, right? We want the business to pay that off. So whatever business that we find, we need to make sure that it can cover the debt service and pay off that $180,000. Does that make sense? Hope y'all with me. All right. So this was a semi-absentee child care center. This is under contract. So since it's under contract, we'll look at this one because it's obviously a good deal. If somebody interested in it, it's a pretty good deal. So they're generating $324,000 in seller discretionary earnings. So this is profit, right? This is almost not too far off from $30,000 a month in profit. Okay. The asking price is $1 million. We got 180 to bring. The gross revenue is 1.4 almost $1 million. And they got real estate for sale if you're interested. Opportunity to increase net income 50% a year. It's well established. Child care center has been serving the community with excellence, blah, blah, blah. Right. Let's see why the seller is actually willing to assist, preparing to retire. So this is the reason why the seller is actually trying to get rid of this business. They offer seller financing as well. So you may be able to get some additional seller financing to get into this deal. New owner could add significant profit through additional programs. All right. Facilities continually upgraded to ensure comfortable and inviting environment for the kids. So they got a 21-person staff. So you don't have to clock into this business. You can literally use business credit, buy the business credit, or leverage the business credit to get into this business and literally be absentee, semi-absentee, right? So you can hire somebody part-time to manage it, or you can manage it on your own from a high level, but it's easier just to go in and find one of these employees and probably, give them a raise and promote them, right? That'll make a lot of sense. You can just promote one of these employees instead of clocking in. And still, again, this business is $324,000 in pure cash flow. Let's put that in a calculator. When we stick that in a calculator, now what are we looking at? 324,000 divided by 12. We are looking at $27,000 a month, guys. $27,000 a month to acquire this company and make your move. So I see why it's a pretty good deal. They're only selling it for $1 million. I see why somebody is interested in jumping on it, right? So once you have access to the capital, guys, literally your world opens up. You can help other people get access to capital, make commissions there. You can also buy businesses. I got a student. I just went out to Philadelphia not too long ago for a grand opening for one of my students who bought a healthcare weight loss clinic, right? They started a weight loss clinic. Now they're generating $50,000 a month in pure profit, or not pure profit, but in gross revenue. And they got into it using 0% interest business credit. Now, the next thing that a person may ask, Solo, okay, all right, so the 0% interest is good for a year, for 15 months, for 18 months. Well, after I use the 0% interest, how can I continue to keep 0% interest going? So I'll break that down for you. So what you guys can do is you actually, right? The beautiful thing about the 0% interest is that the credit is only going to show under your business. So no, you don't have to. Let's say, for example, you got that 180K and you maxed it out. That's only going to show under your business. So it's not going to lower, it won't lower your credit score, your personal credit score. So that's going to keep your personal credit score safe and allow you to apply for more. So what you want to do, guys, is you want to literally go to other banks that were not in your funding sequence. So if you use these lenders in your first funding sequence, you're literally going to go to other banks that's not in these funding, that's not associated with these lenders, and go get 0% interest. And then you can use the liquidating company to pull the cash off and do a balance transfer, right? That way, at the end of your 12 months, or before, you really want to start the process before your 12 months. So let's say you're close to that 12 month and your 0% interest is running out. What you want to do is you want to go find maybe another 6 lenders if that's what's going to take for you to get, the $180,000 again. You're going to find 6 new lenders that offer 0% interest, guys, right? The cool thing about this is it's like thousands of banks and institutions out there, y'all. It's thousands, right? So you can never truly run out of banks. And it's other strategies and different things that I'll break down when you guys come to the boot camp to show you how to keep this 0% interest going. Let me check the comments and see what questions I got. Drop some fires in the chat, y'all. If you guys are getting some game tonight, I want to make sure, see a couple of fires, but I want to make sure you guys are getting some game and some value tonight. Again, join. I want you guys to come to my boot camp. You're going to spend 5 hours with me. Get 5 days, 5 hours. You're going to have the ability to literally pick my brain and ask questions, talk about your personal situation, your client situation, whatever you got. And I'm going to be able to break that down to you live if you get a VIP ticket. All you're going to do, comment boot camp below, right? If you're on Instagram Live with me, comment boot camp below. If you're not on Instagram Live, all you're going to do is text bootcamp to 779-273-4138 to grab your ticket. You do not want to miss this. I'm literally going to be giving you guys so much game, breaking down personal and business credit from start to finish, guys. Like, you cannot, look, I ain't done no live training for, boot camp in over a year. So I got a lot of data points. I got a lot of game, a lot of credit unions, a lot of banks that I want to drop on you guys, and strategies that we've been using to really grow our clients' approvals over this last year. And I only could do it if you pull up on the boot camp. So you don't want to miss this, guys. Again, join me on the boot camp. I got a couple of special guests. We're going to teach you real estate investing. We're going to teach you how to turn collections into checks. We're going to teach you how to market. We're going to teach you how to literally grow your funding company to 6 figures or above, y'all. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. All right. Have a great evening. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope you guys got some value. I see some fires in the chat. I know y'all got some value. Peace and love, y'all.